Team Terence Crawford speak on behalf of Crawford, says that Top Rank is disgruntled. They promised the Pacquiao fight, but they did not deliver, as we know. I'm going to talk about all that in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you guys put a thumb up on this video. That goes a long way to notify others that we got the illest and dopest content in the world of boxing, the sweet science. My name is Ego. This is your one-stop shop for all your boxing needs. Let's get into it. Smash the like button. Let go. Now, Terence Crawford's team spoke, and I'm going to listen to commentary and give some of my thoughts.
Bob Arum showed us some loyalty in the past. So what you niggas do when people show them loyalty, you show them loyalty back.
Ain't no question.
They showed us dreams. They said they was gonna do this.
So you can already see this is Crawford's trainer and co-manager. I don't know if it's Red, but it's definitely not Bomac's voice, so I'm assuming it's Red. And he said they sold us dreams. In the past, Bob Arum showed us loyalty. So what else would you do but show loyalty back? And then he starts saying they sold us dreams. Listen.
Bob Arum showed us some loyalty in the past. So what you niggas do when people show them loyalty, you show them loyalty back.
Ain't no question.
They showed us dreams. They said they was gonna do this. They promised us the Pacquiao fight. They promised us all these things. And then when it came to the corner, then it didn't happen. Then we stuck. Just like many other people was. Oscar De La Hoya left Top Rank. Manny Pacquiao left Top Rank. Floyd Mayweather left Top Rank for the same reasons, my nigga. If y'all know y'all history, y'all know the best fighters in the world was with Top Rank at some point in time, and the business wasn't right, and they left and got their shit right.
Interesting stuff coming from Team Crawford, because he just cited all the people that left. Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao. I want to up to boop, boop, doo, doo. Woo. Right? And this is Team Crawford's team saying all these people left. Ironically, this is stuff that I've said in my video. And Keith Thurman recently had a rant, and he said, F Bob Arum. He says, I want to fight Crawford, but it probably won't happen while Crawford is still with Bob Arum and Top Rank. And then Keith Thurman also made that point that all the best fighters started off, or many of them started off, and had the same list. He said they started off with Bob Arum, but then they end up parting ways and leaving at some point because the business isn't right. Now you're hearing Crawford's team say it. Very interesting.
So while y'all sorry, don't blame Spence. Y'all tell Spence to stay at 147 for another fight, and we'll fight him next when we're a free agent, and we can go knock on Al Heyman's door like, hey, we're not with Bob Arum no more, so what's y'all excuse now? What y'all want to do now, though?
So he says y'all tell Errol Spence to fight and stay at 147. Stay at 147. And I'll put the link in the description so you guys can watch this and subscribe to Bernie. All right. So he said tell Errol Spence to stay at the division. And what are y'all going to have to say now? We'll be knocking on Al Heyman's door and the tables will turn and we'll be like, what's up now? That's basically what he's saying. Let's go.
47 for another fight, and we'll fight him next when we're a free agent, and we can go knock on Al Heyman's door like, hey, we're not with Bob Arum no more, so what's y'all excuse now? What y'all want to do now, though? Okay? It's one thing y'all don't want to do business with Bob Arum. I get that. Okay, I understand. I can understand that a little bit.
So now you have Team Crawford on record saying they can understand PBC or Team Spence not wanting to do business with Errol Spence. So to me, it already sounds like a little bit like I like what I'm hearing, to be honest, because Crawford, I've said this for a minute. He's a terrific fighter, phenomenal fighter, great skilled, ambidextrous, mean fighter, mean streak, always in shape. He's a dog. We know this, but it sounds like a bit of misdirected anger because he says, okay, I understand not doing business with Bob Arum. You guys don't want to fool with Bob Arum. So we're going to come knocking at Al Heyman's door as free agents and say, what's up now? What's up now? Tell Spence to say. But That's what people like myself have been saying from the beginning. So it still seems like a bit of misdirected anger in the sense that he said, what's your excuse now? What's your excuse now? But I've been telling you guys on the channel, I think the only real roadblock here is the sides of the street and Top Rank and PBC and Crawford's demands and 1 in 50-50. That's the biggest issue. So the biggest hurdle was that. So, you know, that part doesn't make sense. He says in one vein that he can understand, you know, not wanting to work with Bob Arum in that given situation. But then he said, what's your excuse now? But I don't think there was an excuse. I think the politics have created that. Like, you got to understand, Bob Arum, this literally factually happened. You guys go watch it. After Terrence Crawford beat Amir Khan on pay-per-view, should have never been on pay-per-view at that given point based on who Amir Khan was at that point, right? Couple fights removed from being blasted by Canelo, and also coming off of the Samuel Vargas performance where Amir Khan definitely struggled. You know, that wasn't a good pay-per-view. That's not what the street. You could have fought Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Mikey Garcia. All that could have been pay-per-view. Of course, ERROL, Spence, yada, yada, yada. But that was a big ask since Amir Khan struggled with Samuel Vargas, who had been knocked out by ERROL Spence, knocked out by Danny Garcia, later got beat by Virgil Ortiz easy, and Amir Khan almost got knocked out by him. So from the beginning, Top Rank has had little, you know, a semblance of a real game plan to star build Terrence Crawford. Crawford, he looks the part. He's an animal. He's in shape. He moved through the divisions. He's been undisputed before. So he's doing his part. The only thing you could, you know, argue on the Crawford side, if he showed more of his personality and did more interviews, you know, stuff like that. But outside of that, as an athlete, he's doing exactly what he needs to do in terms of kicking ass and taking names. But you're almost setting him up for failure by putting the fights that you put on pay-per-view for him. Victor Postal, at the time, that was a good fight, but that should have been on regular HBO. You know, HBO, the guys that were fighting on HBO that were doing pay-per-views were like Andre Ward Kovalev or Canelo, you know, fighting against Cotto, Canelo versus Triple G. And that type of fight at that time, even, it just, Victor Postal didn't have enough of a profile to the point where that should have been on pay-per-view. So both times, right, Top Rank put Crawford on pay-per-views and, you know, maybe cheaped out on the opponent or whatever reason, got those opponents. And it's like he set up to fail, because I could have told you those pay-per-views were going to flop. Now, the real bad side about that is this. Bob Arum will throw that up in Terrence Crawford's face saying, hey, he can't sell. So look at the setup. It's like a catch-22. Put Crawford in undesired pay-per-views, and then when those pay-per-views are predictably bad in terms of total buys, you know, in the current market, based on who you put him in there with, then you throw it on him and say he can't sell, you know. But meanwhile, they're talking about Teofimo and Lomachenko part 2 on pay-per-view. So that'll probably do better based on them having history. It's just a different fight. So Teofimo, if you put him in there with George Kambosos or, you know, Richard Comey on pay-per-view, then they would probably flop. And I think that's what happened with the Kambosos fight, and they end up canceling it. But let's keep going.
Yes, sir. But when Terrence becomes a free agent and he's knocking on the PBC offices like, hey, I don't got no paperwork on me now. Ain't no ankle monitor on me now. What's up? Yes, sir. Then what are they going to do? And then where y'all going to be at? Okay? When this real shit come out. So all y'all laughing and joking and talking about resumes and all this shit, y'all can laugh and joke all y'all want, because we're going to get the last laugh. This thing's that's coming to fruition right now. Yes, sir.
So he said,
but this thing's coming to fruition right motherfucking now, and all this fucking laughter is going to stop, because it's going to get real quick. October is the day. It is the final month of the contract. It's either one fight or October. Okay, we have a disgruntled promotional company that's promoting us. Yes. They're not going to give us shit, but they owe us $4 million, so we're going to fight ZEPADA for $4 motherfucking million, you bitch ass nigga.
He said, I don't know. Yeah, he wilded. But so that's that. He says it's gonna get real serious, and I'm just gonna translate for it. He said it's gonna get real serious real soon because Crawford becomes a free agent in October, and he said we're gonna be knocking on some doors, hollering at different people, Al Heyman, and what are y'all gonna have to say then? And he says either the contract expires in October, or we might have to give him one more fight. But if we give him one more fight, they owe us $4 million. So we'll fight ZEPADA for the $4 million because we got a disgruntled. This is his words. He says we have a disgruntled promoter. They're not going to give us anything. Wow, this is such a crazy situation. Ego Stradamus strikes again. Now, I predicted this whole thing. I told you guys, like, see, on my channel, I told you I'm like Nino Brown. It's always business. It's never nothing personal. I love Crawford. Like, I really enjoy watching him, but I've made videos expressing my concerns, my frustration with the way the movement, his team said they were going to get the Pacquiao fight. All that was a bad look, straight up. All that was a bad look because your team told you for years, and I got the paper trail. We can pull it up. I've pulled it up in past videos. I was pulling for Crawford to get that fight for years. I've been on this platform for a decade. A decade plus or whatever it's been. So at the end of the day, I've done videos on all this. I was pulling for back in the HBO days, when they first got to ESPN, I was pulling when Crawford and Pacquiao were both signed with Top Rank. I was pulling for him to get the fight. They never made the fight at Top Rank. So I do feel there's some misdirected anger from Team Crawford. And I don't, me personally, my honest opinion, I don't think the energy is placed in the right spot. He's saying a lot of y'all hating. Like, I know people for a fact that really rock with Crawford, but they're not rocking how his career has looked at welterweight. That's the reality of it. You know what I'm saying? That's the reality of it. He's saying all y'all laughing. I don't think people were intentionally laughing at Crawford. It's just after you keep not getting the fights you want, and the business ain't making sense, people have their criticism. I can't speak because I know there's a lot of clown stuff on the internet and keyboard warriors and all that. I don't know. I can't speak on behalf of the whole world, but all I can speak, and I stand by everything that I said. Me, like I said, it's always business, never nothing personal. For me, I always valued Crawford. I think he's a great fighter. I'm not backtracking. I still believe the same thing. Your team put you in compromising positions, kept putting out information saying that you could fight Pacquiao next, and it was going to happen in Dubai, it was going to happen in Qatar, it was going to happen in Abu Dhabi, all for it not to happen, which is what he talked about in the beginning. He said there were a lot of things promised to us and it didn't come into fruition. We stayed loyal and we didn't get some of the things. So it looks like a lot is going on behind the scenes. I really hope Crawford makes the right decision. And I told you, he got to become a free agent. He got to either be a free agent or rock with PBC. Your promoter is not giving you the fights. You're not getting, even Shakur. Like, you look at how black fighters on ESPN are treated. Straight like that. Shakur Stevenson been calling out Oscar Valdez since featherweight, and he has the credentials. They're both Olympians. Valdez is coming off the Miguel Bercho performance. There's no reason why that fight can't happen now that they both moved up, right? You're with the same promoter. Valdez has kind of talked about Shakur at some points. He's trained with a great coach, Canelo's coach, but Shakur can't get the fight. Same thing with Terence Crawford. It'd be one thing if it was like sides of the street and things like that. But see, this is the question. Crawford, he can't get ERROL because of the size of street politics, but why didn't he get Pacquiao when they were both with Top Rank? So there's a lot of questions and finger pointing in boxing, but you got to look at the real culprits. Crawford was with HBO and Top Rank. Pacquiao was too. They never fought. Even though Crawford's team, I was at his fights. I have interviews. I have footage where they say, yeah, we'll fight Pacquiao at the Ray Beltran fight. That was hella long ago. And I got footage of Crawford's team accepting the Pacquiao fight. They never made it happen. Same thing, like I said, Shakur Valdez. So that's whatever. I guess Top Rank, how they want to stretch it out. They want to stretch the dope out, instead of just putting that pure Colombian product out, that puro, that cocaína, you know, they want to stretch it out and put baking soda and pine sol and fentanyl and, you know, a bunch of cut in it to stretch it out. And that's what happens. Oscar Valdez, maybe they don't feel like they have a big enough roster, so they got to expand it. You know what I mean? So instead of making Shakur Stevenson and Oscar Valdez, they'll put Oscar Valdez in with Rafael Concepcion or a fight nobody wants to see, instead of just making the big one, you know? And this is the second division together. So we'll see. We'll see what Crawford decides to do. I'm not, you know, I got to see his move. I got to see him say it, because this is his team, even though it's his team saying it, trainer, co-manager, whatever, saying it. I got to hear it from Crawford. So he's the man making the decisions, but it's really, who is he going to fight? Like, because even the ZEPADA fight, that's going to be met with a lot of, you know, a lot of chagrin. But it sounds like his team is like, man, we might have to fight ZEPADA for the 4 million, which is our minimum or whatever. They got to give us that much for ZEPADA, so we'll cook him and then, you know, do what's next. So we'll see. I'm not gonna hold my breath, because we've been here before. At one point, Crawford signed an extension. Let me know what you guys think of this. Very interesting. Things are starting to heat up. I think the ERROL Spence fight, Crawford fight definitely could happen, especially if there's no roadblock with an additional promoter. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Use my link. Throw a like on this. Subscribe. We work in peace.